Thank you for tuning in to the Book Marketing Tips and Author Success Minisode podcast. This is Penny Sansevieri and Amy Cornell, and I'm going to kind of let Amy run with this one just because I know she has very strong opinions about the author bio. But I just want to lead off by saying that what's interesting, and part of the reason why we wanted to dedicate a minisode to this, is I'm amazed at how many times I feel like authors have overlooked a great marketing opportunity, which is their author bio, where they just kind of slap their resume up there, whether or not it has anything to do with the book that they've written. I dedicated a chapter to this in How to Sell Books by the Truckload. Again, I know that Amy has strong feelings about this, but I just want to start by saying you want to make sure that your bio aligns with what you're writing about, because readers it's amazing how many times readers read the bio and go into the bio just to see what the author does. And especially in particular, if I'm picking up a nonfiction book, I want to know that I'm buying a book by somebody who has some experience in the topic they're writing about.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a very different approach, whether you write fiction or nonfiction.
Absolutely.
So if you write fiction, the goal should be to be creative and memorable. You know, you don't want to just say like, okay, like I went to school here and I started writing because of this, and I have a cat and I like to, you know what I mean? It's like, that's not fun. Like, be fun, be memorable, be somebody that if somebody's reading that bio, they go, this person sounds really interesting, actually, or that you make them laugh, or that if you have kind of a darker sense of humor and you write thrillers or something like that, do that. Have it match the tone in the genre of the book that you write in.
Yeah.
An example, if you write women's fiction, I personally would rather read about the author's favorite ice cream flavor or their yoga practice or the vacation destination they go to get motivated to write or something like that. And I find that much more endearing than the fact that they have a BA in accounting, for example. And stop there if you think I'm trying to dumb down women. That is not the point. How dare you? But the point is that you want to connect with people on a more personal level. So if you're writing fiction, talking about where you went to school doesn't typically play into that. And it doesn't mean you can't put it elsewhere. That's something too, I think, Penny, that people forget, that Author Central actually has a lot of different fields that you can fill out.
Yes.
People more information on who you are, your brand, all sorts of stuff. But the bio is something that they will most likely definitely read. So keep that really strategic and concise and make it fit for who you're writing for. Imagine you're in a room with your potential buyer market. What would you be chatting about? That's the kind of stuff that should inspire you for your bio. Yeah. Not, again, if you're fiction, slapping your resume up there. If you started talking about that stuff in, a social setting with it just doesn't make sense. So rethink kind of what the point of your bio is and look through it and say, am I really telling people who I am and what I'm about? Like, is this really all that interesting? Or am I just, putting something up there to take up space?
Well, and I think that also, to your point, your bio has to align with your book topic, right? And it's not that if you've written nonfiction that we always have to know all the degrees that you have in order to write this book. I saw a book, and actually I think I featured her bio in How to Sell Books by the Truckload. She wrote a funny parenting book, and it was really hilarious. And now I apologize, the name of it escapes me. And she had all of these, if you dig into her background, you'll see that she had all these degrees in parenting, but her bio was funny because her parenting book was funny. And so it aligned with that, because if your book is like this hilarious parent, like if it was something like don't duct tape your kids to the floor or something, I mean, it was such a great title. And, and then if you have this really serious bio, like this blah, blah, child education or something, that's great. We know what you're talking about, but it should really align with what your book's about. And it's so much a missed opportunity, because then reading her bio, I'm like, oh my God, this person sounds funny. I bet, even though I don't have children, I bet I would love reading this book, because I bet it's like Irma Bombeck, laugh out loud kind of funny.
Absolutely. I love that example, because really, I think the bio for nonfiction, you really have to think about earning that buy click,
Yeah.
and you really have to stand out above the competition. And it really is a different buyer psychology for fiction and nonfiction.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that you really want to know too, when you're putting together your bio, it's important to know, and this is where, doing a reader profile, which we have a free download for, is important. It's important to know what drives your reader, right? So just back to the parenting book, right? If I'm a parent and I'm seeing this really funny book, I'm not buying it necessarily because I want parenting how-tos. And this author knew that, which is why her bio was funny. Conversely, if I'm buying a book on, let's say, I don't know, how to do my own taxes, and your bio is funny, I'm thinking I'm going to wind up in IRS jail, because you probably don't know what you're doing. So I think you really have to, when you're putting your bio together, you have to understand what's going to inspire this reader to a buy. Do they want to get to know you? Very often they do when you're writing genre fiction. Very, very often they do. Do they want do they want to know where that you have degrees? If you've written a diet and health book, absolutely. Because anybody can, as we know, can put a book together on, how to get healthier. They may not necessarily know the topic they're talking about. So understand what motivates your reader to buy, and then include that, or include at least elements of that in your bio for Amazon. And remember, Amazon Author Central gets 1 billion hits a year in terms of people, checking out. It's crazy checking out authors. Goodreads did a study a number of years ago and found that the number one thing that readers want at the end of a book is to connect with the author. So your author bio is a great way to help foster that connection. And I think is that all we have on the topic of author bios? Because I know we could go on forever.
I know we could, but no, this is another, this tends to happen a lot with our minisodes. This is a great reminder, kind of action item. If you're listening to this and you're thinking, I haven't even looked at my bio in a while, use this as an opportunity to put it on your short list, to go review it and see what else you can come up with. Because the great thing is that it's not static. You can make changes to this. So don't worry about kind of testing out different ways to go about putting your bio up there. Try a few different strategies and see how it works for you, and see if you notice a difference in sales or in feedback or signups on your newsletter. There's a lot of different, or follows on social. There's a lot of different ways you may actually see results from this.
Yeah. And, Amy and I say this all the time, the details matter. And sometimes really small changes can lead to big results. And I think that one of your maybe action items for the weekend, or I know these minisodes drop on Friday, but is take a look through other author bios in a similar market and get some ideas of what they're doing. And you'll really start to get to know what you like and what you don't like. And then, make those small changes, and you would be surprised what a difference it can make in your reader connection, readers reaching out to you, and certainly and always buying your book. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Minisode of the Book Marketing Tips and Author Success Podcast. This is Penny Sansevieri and Amy Purnell. We love your feedback and we love a review. So please review this show wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you. Bye-bye.